consider and belong to COAB. And again, I emphasize, no one is working on these recommendations thinking that this is the answer to the problems or the issues that we're discussing, but it's a piece. Just one second. Separate from that, and I'll go back to this. I'm hearing comments from people, observations, which I share, that there are flaws in the existing settlement agreement in terms of the COAB and COAB, as to structure, membership, and so forth. And I don't know what the answers are, but I know there's lots of concern about that. I don't know whether that's something the accountability subcommittee should look at or make recommendations about, and no one else is doing it. Maybe this subcommittee should. It's not on the agenda, but it's a separate item. I'll just mention that. Talk about that briefly. The only other item on the agenda is something that Rochelle and Bud from the Data Systems Subcommittee are working on in terms of additional data sets or data that the police should be collecting to help us, the community, the police evaluate what they're doing well, not so well. And Rochelle is sort of spearheading that effort, going around to subcommittees and soliciting information on that. And again, that's an ongoing project, so to speak, and this is the only time you can weigh in on that. We welcome, and Rochelle welcomes that input on other data. We had a pretty good discussion last night at the Data Systems Subcommittee about that. So that's the other item on the agenda. So.
And we have.
Did I miss an item that we had?
If it's okay with me.
I would leave. What do we got?
I would just, some policy recommendations I want to run that to me.
Do you want to just wait on that for a bit as well? Okay. So, I'm not sure what time it is. I lost track of time. 7:20. Okay, we're moving along. So I would like to. Keep it short. Just a second. You're good at keeping things short.
I will.
I would like to try and devote just another 5 or 10 minutes to the original topic of accountability issues. So if you have something that's not generic in terms of concerns and issues, but in terms of maybe proposals or solutions.
Why would we do that, though? I mean, we haven't even gone through our stuff yet. So.
I'm just trying to brainstorm. So if people have something like that in the next 5 or 10 minutes, I would appreciate it.
I do.
I'm not sure whose hand was up first.
Mine.
Sean, okay.
All right, so as far as the recommendation is concerned, in the second paragraph after C, it says about recommendations from the AS. And towards the end of the second paragraph, in the last sentence, it says something about additional funding. My question is, for whom or for what is that additional funding intended? And if it's for the Portland Police Department, should we be considered?
Not for them.
Okay, so it's not for them. So this is a good thing. So my question then, or my comment then is, how do we, with all the way we feel about the Portland Police Bureau, how do we not incite situations that sort of bring us to a head as far as wanting to really work together? Like what the cameraman said to Jakari, told him to shut up. I'm just asking, like, so for him, I'm asking, so do you think that that is a good thing to do in such a tough situation right now for everybody?
I think it's a valid point. It's a little bit off topic of what I'm trying to get to right now. Just
Can we just keep going? Okay, so my
the
point
funding
is,
issue is appropriate. The other is a good issue. But
I can maybe even sort of answer or go towards the answer.
Mary?
Okay, so I wanted to reach out to James Young and personally apologize for the water that was splashed in his face. after my discussion with Simcha on Twitter, it was my understanding you were formerly a district attorney in Michigan, and I know Simcha had lived in Michigan, Charles Johnson, and that he identifies as Jewish. So he felt particularly offended at the strategic placement of the hate agitator, the officer, Sergeant or Captain Kruger, who is known to have a Nazi affiliation. What I'm concerned about is his anti-constitutional, anti-Americanism, and his placement as an act of aggression with his affiliation with a foreign enemy organization. I view this as a severe loyalty breach, and I would like to ask you, sir, if you... Excuse me, don't interrupt me. I would like to know if you support the United States of America or a Nazi organization. I want to know what kind of loyalty you have to this nation or the United States or the United States of America UK partnership. I want you to know. Say, are you a Nazi?
Mary, it may be an important question. It's not really on topic.
It is, because I'm agitated. This is what, it was gaslighting. I just found out I'm Jewish 2 months ago.
I understand.
I'm Jewish. What am I supposed to do? Go huff some Zyklon B or whatever?
Can we hear the answer to the
Trying to deal with something topical. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry.
it was strategic, and I've reported it as a hate crime. And until I get an apology from all of you, you're all complicitous. Even you, Steenson. Do you apologize?
I apologize.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I wasn't in it, but I followed.
Neo-Nazi at the meeting. They sent a neo-Nazi to upset the Jewish people. Just like sending a
I just wanted to say, like, I do think
Same
that,
thing.
like, you know, there are a lot of good recommendations in here, but I do think we also need to look at the part of, you know, how do we effectively legally get discipline to stick? Because, you know, even if this is a great process, you know, like, it's not much of a deterrent if they're just like, oh, okay, well, the arbitrator's going to say they have to give me my job back, even if the mayor, the city council, the police chief, and everyone else says I'm gone, you know?
I think the view of the people working on this issue,
it happens.
on these issues, is that the issue of terminating bad police officers is a different issue. Not to be
Terminate, but suspending sometimes they overturn it.
Why doesn't everybody resign until they clean up a their act? Why don't we have a sit out?
I think it's, first, I think it's an issue, the accountability is something that needs to be discussed, addressed.
But we need an
It
agency that has.
involves a collective bargaining agreement, it's a very complicated
Well, not
issue.
even terminating, even suspensions have been overturned and things, but yeah, you know, it doesn't have much of a deterrent effect if you're like, oh, okay, well, the judge is gonna make him hire me back anyway.
It's not within the purview of this
Right.
sort of fairly narrow set of recommendations.
That's kind of a Mayor
It's a good
Hale's
point.
kind of way of operating things, and I don't care for that.
Because this
I think
is
we can
really
get straight to the
small.
point.
I do what you should.
Felix.
Felix, yes.
Yes, sir. I just had a quick thing. I don't know if it's on the agenda tonight, but I think this is like the top 5 reasons why police officers get away with what they do. Why is there a 72-hour window before they make a statement to
48
out?
48.
That's what
That's
48.
in their
Like, we need to get that on the table, because if they got time to lie and deceive people, what the hell they doing to being a police officer? They need to get rid of that 48-hour rule, because that's the time for them to get their lie together. That's when shit starts.
That's,
48 hours to get your lie together, man? Come on, man. You're an officer. You should know what happened right there on the scene.
that's in the,
That's an excuse, man.
that's in the union contract.
I actually wrote that, and it was passed in this committee, and then it went to the general COAB, and then they passed it, and then the mayor was like, eh. And that's where it is right now.
See what I'm saying? See, the mayor is a big power. The mayor's a power.
It can't be touched till negotiations reopen.
This mayor's got to go. He's got to go.
Yeah, and we can't wait 6 months on that. We can't wait
He
6
ain't for
months.
people. Look what he's allowing to go on in our city. He needs to get his ass up out of here.
And so does Mike Reese, he ain't going into sheriff's, he's in fiscal drain. It hits him in the bucks.
Kathleen?
Mike Reese.
There have been 2 messages from this board that went about the 48-hour rule. One, Lee just explained to you, and there was a second one that was a letter that was sent directly to the chief of police and to the mayor, asking them to immediately rescind the 40-hour rule. This board doesn't have the ability to make the change. It can only recommend the change. And it has been requested, insisted upon, and publicized.
Yes, ma'am.
We're working on it.
Maybe COAB can go to the next
We have
negotiations.
to
Contract.
open the police contract a year ahead of time.
They know what it is.
I was told negotiations can't open until 2017.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think we have to start at the top, we have to start at the top and not the bottom, Jakari Jackson.
We have our four steps.
It's got to go together.
We need to start at the top.
I would like,
I would love to attend the next
I would like to
UTD
move-
contract negotiations.
I would like to move and remind you that this discussion about this accountability group of recommendations is going to be back up for consideration with hopefully a more finalized version for consideration and vote at the next meeting. So it's not a
All right.
finish your ideas, weigh in next time. We're trying to make the system better as we can, so.
Tom? Go ahead, talk about this a minute. I read this tonight, I haven't seen it before, but I know what would have helped me, would have been maybe an intro that gave me the goals of improvement, like easy intake, timely resolution of cases, fair treatment of complainants, and then the recommended changes.
Okay, thank you. The next item, the next
Oh, I
schedule.
had a quick question, Tom. Do you know, are contract negotiations open to the public through TV? Because I'm like, that would be interesting if some COAB members could observe that.
They're somewhere in the squirrel category of the Portland Police. They're in the squirrel department.
Public meetings don't apply with that.
Pretty much not. So the next item on the listed agenda has to do with Rochelle's efforts about additional data collection. So I'll turn it over to her.
Okay, for those of you who were here last night, I apologize that I'll be repeating myself. But the Data Systems Use and Storage Compliance Subcommittee is working on a project, Marion is working on a project to ask you, the community, what it is you want in the terms of data from the Portland Police, how you want that presented, and how you want it made accessible